By the way, I think that it's so interesting how we can naturally tend to go to, let's say I want to be my kid's best friend versus leader because the desire is for connection. It's a really healthy desire. The problem is it does the opposite.
Yeah.
Your kid learns to not really respect you. Your kid learns to be able to, use you. Your kid eventually learns to resent you because they don't know why you don't love them enough to lead them.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hello, my love.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, part 3 of this topic of how to not raise soft kids. If you guys have not listened to parts 1 and 2, go back.
Right. Start there.
This is obviously the third part.
Yeah, you want to start there.
It'll make more sense.
Yeah,
but, I will just say, as we wrap up this series, that if you want strong kids, you have to build a strong home. And it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by chance. It's not just random. And you don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be intentional.
Correct.
Right? Strong families, guys, are built on structure, discipline, and leadership. I have to tell you,
Yes.
I want to kind of repeat this because I don't know how many times that I get like comments that I can read between the lines of what people are telling us, and it's almost like they think that we got lucky with the way our 6 kids are.
All 6?
Yeah. But think about it, though. Have you ever felt this? Where it's like, oh, gosh, that's amazing. It's amazing your kid's like that. Boy, my kid, I don't know how that happened, right? Like, they don't get it. Like, they think that literally we just, like, drew some lotto and birthed these kids that just showed up the way they are, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to take some ownership here. Strong kids come from strong homes. Strong homes don't happen by accident. So, again, everybody, please hear me. You don't need to be perfect about this. You want to get rid of the perfectionism kind of a mindset. It's too much pressure. None of us are going to be able to come close to it. In our household, Jackie's not perfect. I'm pretty close, but
See, that's the problem.
I couldn't even.
We're doing a series on this afterwards. We'll get to that series down the road. Greg's perfectionism.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Okay. All right. So what actually works, hon? Let's lay the framework out for this.
Well, number one, again, actions with clarity. Okay. Kids should know exactly what to expect, whether it comes from chores or sports or schedules or behavior, whatever it may be. You need to be very clear. And if you haven't done this yet, you can start today. This is like, don't think because we did it wrong for a long time. So like, make sure it's clean, clear, and easy for the kids to understand.
It's extra work to set expectations consistently.
Yes.
It is. It's extra work, but it makes the rest of your life easier.
Correct.
Right. And so it's like there's work of being intentional on the front end.
Correct.
But then there's more work when you weren't intentional to clean up all the mess you created.
Yes, and it's not as much fun.
Yeah. We just did this last night. We had was it last night? Night before.
This week, yeah.
Night before we did a family team meeting. We try to do one once a week. We do it at least every other week. And we lay out, hey, here's our family standards. And we have everybody read them and we repeat them. And a lot of them are the standards of our household. And so there's consistency behind the communication of these things. But another part of our team meeting is, okay, schedules this week. Who's doing what? Where are we going? And you can see like the anxiety almost drop from all of us because we're like, oh, okay, you got that. I'm doing this. I don't expect you to be at that. I have to take care of this. Oh, I didn't even know you had that day. Okay, how are we managing that? Next thing you know, we have a plan for the week. And also we kind of have an expectation about, okay, if you're going to be at that and we're not going to be there, this is how we expect you to be acting and things like that. And everybody it's clear expectations. So now everybody's set up for success.
Right. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah. So that's one thing. Another thing I can think of is being consistent. Rules don't change based on your mood or how you're feeling that day or what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't have to do everything every single day, but we have to have something going on that makes sense. It's consistent. And next time there's a weird situation or anything like that, we know how to behave. We know how to correct it. We know what the ramifications are going to be if something's not done properly.
Yeah. I mean, I keep going back to that example that we use of if you don't do it right, you're going to have to do it again.
That is a philosophy of our family.
And I remember some of this. It'd be things like, okay, so Drews or Ellie, it's their job to do laundry for one of us that day. I remember Drews would be doing mine, and this stuff he'd go do it, and then he'd have to fold it, and then it would show up. But he was so like lazy about how he folded it. Now everything that was folded is all so wrinkly. You have to redo it all. Otherwise, you're walking around look like you just, this thing's been pushed in a corner, balled up for a week.
It probably was, but yes.
At times, maybe, right? But it was like, I remember, this is not how this is going to go. I need you to go talk to your sister, who one of his sisters does this perfect every time. It's like it came straight out of being brand new. And so she'd jump, and then that's like the training part. And the next time shows up, half the stuff's wrinkled. And I'm like, go fix it all. Go get an iron. You go take the time. I don't care what else you want to do right now. This is what you're going to do. Then you're going to fold it right and you bring it back. And then I'm going to check it, and and it's like consistency. And then if it happens again in a month, he's going to go do it right again. Right. But there's a consistent and standard.
Clarity that went with it. Then he can consistently do it right.
Yeah. Another one is consequences. Mm-hmm. Because listen, parents, I know this is a hard thing to hear, but disobedience must have a cost.
Uh-huh.
And for us, we do various things. Of course, we've talked in the past about some of our methods for disciplining that we've learned from the Bible, actually, and we will stand up to those. And you guys can go back to some previous episodes, and we've been in detail about that, especially when kids are younger. But at the same time, there's little things we do now where it is like the no dessert thing, for however long, or maybe it's a loss of screen time, even though we don't give our kids a lot. They get a teeny little window with, specific things. If things got out of hand too much, we do what we call a character week. Probably be a topic for us at some point, where it's a certain amount it's a certain amount of things that kids cannot do, but also things they have to do. And it all revolves around training them in character, right? And so there's consequences.
Yes. One of the things we're good about with consequences, though, is we do not, take them away from something like a sport that they've worked for.
That's true.
I want to kind of clarify that,
that is good.
Because first it would let down their team and their coach, and it would be a longer consequence. They might not be able to start on the team. They might not be, but they might not be able to hang out longer after practice with their friends and go grab ice cream or something. They might not be able to go to the extra thing, but we do keep.
That's true. I mean, we almost look at it like we're disciplining them to be a team player at any place that they would work or be in business. And so just because they did something wrong doesn't mean the punishment trails into something that could create more repercussions in a different way.
Correct.
Because we don't think that would be fair. Right.
So That's I did want to clarify that.
Yeah. It's like, you didn't do this, so you're not going to practice today. Okay, but then if you don't go to practice, then you can't play for a week.
Exactly.
Right, kind of a thing. And the coach doesn't care about what you're doing for parenting.
Right.
They care about their standard when they have you in that window.
So, yeah.
Okay, next.
Another one is connection. You need both discipline and a relationship.
Sure.
Which I think we do a really good job of that. And that just comes from, again, making sure it's very clear what's expected. And then if you don't do it, Greg's really good about this, is if you don't get to enjoy whatever, screen time or whatever the consequences, he's really good to be like, you can't be mad at me for that. I did not, I didn't fold those like that.
Yeah, you knew what was going to happen because we communicated well enough, and then you made a choice to do the thing. So
you're really good at that.
You're in your position because of the choice you made, not what I made.
So don't be mad at me. Fix it, and then we won't need to deal with it again. You're really good at like the unemotional of that. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you with the emotional part? Pretty good at it.
Yeah. Through the years, I've gotten better.
You for sure.
I mean, I would be more the one that would be soft about stuff. And then I recognized that it really wasn't helping my relationship with the kids. It for sure wasn't helping my relationship with you. And why are you laughing?
It's true. I'm just saying. It's just really honest.
It's true. And so it was something I had to make sure that, just because I have to keep these, quote unquote standards doesn't mean the kids don't still love me, or doesn't mean I'm not being a great mom, or doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, And I think, like I said, you were a little easier
It's really real though, what we're talking about. Because parents, this isn't easy.
Yeah.
You're going to get pushback. You're going to feel uncomfortable doing a lot of things we're talking about. You probably feel uncomfortable just hearing about these things.
Well, I feel uncomfortable talking about it. You know what I mean? Because it brings back emotions.
And if you feel a little uncomfortable, don't take this wrong. You're welcome. You're welcome. We're trying to help.
Yeah.
I hope it does kind of push a button a little bit in a healthy way that makes you say, I need to think about this. I might need to implement some new things because what happens then if you're actually fighting through the pushback and if you're fighting through the discomfort, what you're really doing is you're starting to lead.
Right.
Because that's what leadership is. It's doing things that aren't easy to do because they're the things that are supposed to be done.
Yes.
Right.
And doing it consistently.
And doing it consistently and doing it with clarity and doing it while still staying connected. By the way, a side note on all this, I think that it's so interesting how we can naturally tend to go to, let's say I want to be my kid's best friend versus leader because the desire is for connection. It's a really healthy desire. The problem is it does the opposite.
Yeah.
Your kid learns to not really respect you. Your kid learns to be able to, use you. Your kid eventually learns to resent you because they don't know why you don't love them enough to lead them.
Yeah, it causes confusion.
It does, and so for us, the more that we have had to stay consistent and we've had to have consequences and we've had to lead when we felt like being a friend, what it's ultimately led to is a very tight connection.
Very much so.
Everywhere that we go and everything that we do, and now the kids are getting introduced to the world more and more. They just draw closer and closer to us because they love they love the standard of our home. And that is their safe place.
Yeah, they feel like it's their safe place.
And we're their safe place because of our consistency, because of how much we've had to, I'm not trying to just do a brag on us thing here. I'm just trying to say, parents, I'm just trying to encourage you that when you do all this stuff, in the moment, you might feel like you're not being their best friend, but long term, you will really be their best friend, and that's what you got to keep yourself focused on and locked on. So, okay. So, honey, what's some of the actions that people could do this week?
Again, we kind of talked about earlier, but have some clear standards for your house.
Maybe they could set 3 of them. Maybe you can sit down as a couple, or if you're single parent, then just sit down and write them down. Write down what are 3 clear standards that you want implemented into your house. What is that? Is it like everybody's going to do XYZ chores with a good attitude? And they're going to do it before they get this kind of playtime. What's a standard that you're going to live by?
And keep it in front of them. I remember when the kids were young, I had a little placemat in the morning for breakfast, and it was like a magic eraser or whatever. You know what I mean? They had to check off. So I'm sorry, you can't hear me there. I had a placemat in the morning when they came for breakfast. I had, at the time, 5 kids. 5 kids had their little placemats, and they checked off. Okay, I got dressed, check. Made my bed, check. Put my stuff in the dirties, check. Ate breakfast, check. Put it in the dishwasher, check. And it was I don't know. It was simple stuff. I would say it was easy stuff for them to do, but they felt and then I knew what to expect and they knew what to expect. And it was in front of them every morning.
Accomplished, and they felt like they pleased you.
That's right.
Right. And they did.
And then after that, if you did all that, good to go. Let's go move on with something else. But it was really fun because they could just read it at the or I could read it to them if they were small.
And that took extra work for you to put that together.
Yeah.
But
it was well worth it.
But how it worked out, it kind of taught our kids to actually do your work before you do your play.
That's right. And we did the same thing with Hunter. It was actually on the fridge and stuff like that. And she could mark it off each day. So I just encourage you, keep it in front of them. Keep those standards in front of them because they actually want to do them.
Yeah. So whatever standards you set, just make sure that you do, after you write them down, this is practical stuff for guys, okay? Make sure you communicate them to your kids. Take some time and communicate them in a way that they, for instance, if it's the work versus before play thing. It's just tell your kids, just say when you talk. There's a few things that I expect of you guys to contribute to in the household. Maybe it's just cleaning up your stuff on your own, putting it away nicely. Yeah. Maybe it's things like that. Just say, but before you get to do any of these other things, this needs to be done. Okay, this is the standard we're going to hold in this house because we're going to have a high standard house, right? And then enforce them. Even set a goal of 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
I'm enforcing this stuff. You'll be surprised after 7 days, you probably won't ever want to stop because you'll see such a change. Right. May not be the first day, but it'll probably be by day 2, day 3.
And your kids will love it.
And just doing those 3 things right here, set 3 clear standards, communicate them clearly, and then enforce them for 7 days, you'll start seeing a shift in your home, which is pretty awesome. So all right, guys. So what a great 3-part series. Hopefully y'all got a lot out of this. If you're ready to stop guessing and instead start building a strong, disciplined family, we want to help. And the way we can help is, we can send you our Strong Family Blueprint. The best way to do this on whatever platform you're on, just message or comment the word family, right? Whatever platform you prefer to listen to us or watch us on. And then once you comment that, we are going to connect with you directly, and we will send you this info. And also, it just gives us a connection point. We like serving people who want to build strong families.
That's right.
Like we just do. It's not a burden to us. So don't feel like you'd be burdening us. We would like to actually connect with you.
Yes.
Okay, so
great job, next time.
All right. See you next time.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.